Nothing can be more painful than the story I want to share with you on today's episode of my briefing. It is about a Nigerian family that were relocating to the UK, but only ended their journey at the UK airport. From there, they were forced or ordered to turn around and return back to Nigeria. That is where they ended their journey. It is so painful that it's actually not worth sharing. However, I am sharing it for just one purpose and one purpose only, so that you can learn from their ugly experience and ensure that you do not end up like that in the future. There are at least three good lessons from the story that I'm going to explain in this episode. So let's just get started right away. Before I continue with the story, let me take something out of the way. I need to make it clear to you that this family already had their visa. They already successfully went through the whole gamut of the process of securing a visa. And by the way, they actually got a visa under the skilled work visa route to the UK. They got a UK employer that offered them certificate of sponsorship. One of the parents actually got a certificate of sponsorship from a UK employer. Went for the visa and went through the most difficult part of it, which is the interview process, which from information available to us in the media, most people are beginning to fail these interviews. It's no longer as easy as it used to be. But this family went through this trouble, succeeded in getting the visa, and booked their flight to the UK, particularly through Heathrow Airport. That is where they routed their trip to the UK. On arriving at the UK airport, at Heathrow Airport, you know how the process goes. Now you need to pass through the UK border agency. That is the immigration, answer some questions and all that. At the point of being asked why they were in the UK, they explained everything. Of course, they already know all this. The border agency officials have this information, but they always ask you. Then they repeated exactly what the reason that brought them to the UK. A cost was placed to their employer, that's the UK, the owner of the UK company that sponsored the family to the UK. And unfortunately for them, most unfortunately, the UK company said that they were not expecting them on that date. There could be so many other things that went behind the scene, but the story, which is in the media, did not really tell us all this. By the way, I've already included a web link to the story in the description down below. Click on the link and read the whole story. There's no point of repeating all of it here on this briefing. But one thing is very clear. Every other thing that is contained in that story to me is all long story, which is not worth repeating. It's very, very annoying. It is a very, very atrocious experience. If I should explain it that way, it's not worth repeating at all. But one basic thing why I've considered it necessary to bring it to you on this channel is so that you would learn a lesson from it, because there are things that needs to be learned from this. Read the story and get the whole facts, but let's delve into discussing what you can actually benefit from the story. And I've identified three important lessons that I want to discuss with you on this briefing, so that you will ensure that you never ever have to meet a fate like this, very dastard and horrific for anyone to bear, any family at all. Now let's go into what these lessons are. There are three of them, like I said. I'll take the one after the other and explain them briefly. Number one, be careful who you are dealing with when looking for COS, that is certificate of sponsorship. Shine your eyes. Be very careful who you are dealing with. Now I'm not going to go into preaching to you about the sanctity of not paying for COS. That is already an old story. I've made a video about this. I've tried to explain the risk to you. Watch the video here. However, I will be blabbing if I deny the fact that there are genuine UK companies that will still charge you for COS. Things are happening. We have our ears on the ground and we know or we hear these things. There are people who have paid or still paying for COS up to this day. Some have already relocated to the UK. Some might even still be in the process. So if I tell you that anyone who charges you for COS is not genuine, of course, I'm not being realistic. It is the truth. It is a fact. It is happening right now, even as I speak to you, that monies are being exchanged because of COS. But there are still genuine UK employer that will not charge you a kobo and still issue you COS. After all, they need you. These people need you badly than you think you need them. They need workers, and they are willing to sponsor you and even pay your flight tickets, provide a lot of resources to ensure that you go through the visa process and relocate to the UK because they need you. They need you to come and work for their company and make money for them. But unfortunately, some of us are not patient enough to go through the process, search out these companies, understand how to get them, find them out, and begin to communicate with them and have the patience to wait until they get through and get exactly what they're looking for. So people pay because they are so much in a hurry. They feel they want to get this thing ASAP. Okay, that is entirely your decision. But the only thing I want to advise as the lesson you need to draw from what has happened is to ensure that you are dealing with the right company. Not all UK companies have the authority or the license to sponsor or to issue what is called defined COS. That is bringing a foreign worker from outside the country. Not all UK companies can do that. Those whom Home Office have already licensed and given the authority to do that, there are very many of them. You need to search them out. I've made a video which you can watch here that tells you exactly how to identify these companies. So before you even begin to deal with, confirm that this company is authorized to bring you from the UK. That is the very first thing you need to do. Learn that. That is the very first lesson. Number two, deal directly with these companies or their lawyers, not through agents. It is important to understand this, if not for any other reason, because of the this very atrocious story about this Nigerian family. I don't know if you already read the story. The link, like I said before, is down below in the description section. When you read it, you will understand one thing, just like I suspect in my heart. This could have been as a result of breach in communication somewhere. Somebody made mistake. Somebody wasn't really diligent enough. And I suspect that this could have actually been the agent who was involved in this process. Most of these agents care little about you. Their major interest is their money. Not all of them. There are very genuine, there are still genuine ones, some who are responsible enough to follow through. But very many of them only collect your money and refuse to follow through their obligations. But if you are dealing directly with the company or their lawyers, they are more likely to follow you up from the beginning to the end of the process. The companies have something to protect. The lawyers are professionals, they have something to protect. But these agents have nothing to protect or nothing to fear. They just take their money and very many of them jump into the bush, go and blow your money. But these companies will follow you from the beginning to the end. So whether you are paying for COS or not, that's entirely your decision. But even when you pay for it, even when you have gotten this COS or you are about getting COS through an agent, you can decide to pay the agent off. Pay them off, but ask them to take you or connect you directly to the company or to their lawyer so that you deal with them directly. You need to be streetwise. Shine your eyes. Don't use let anyone use your head. Pay them the money if that is the decision you have made, but let them connect you to the company that you are going to work with. Start dealing with them directly. If you are dealing with them, they are more likely to know when you are leaving your home country. They are more likely to know when you are arriving. They are more likely to know, have every details about you when you are leaving and when you are arriving, and what questions that you are most likely going to be asked and what you will answer. They will advise you properly and follow you up from the beginning to the end. And finally, take nothing for granted before you board your flight. That is the final lesson I want us to discuss. And what do I mean by that? You need to cross your teeth and dot all your I's. It is important. Like I said before, that is the lesson, the point I made before this. This one is very similar to it. Your UK employer must have advanced information about your travel plans. Your itinerary must be made very clear to your UK employer or to the lawyer, whoever is handling your matter within the company. They must know exactly the date you are leaving your home country and arriving in the UK, the flights and the airport you are going to be landing. It is important. I'm sure if you are dealing with the company, they would also must have groomed you, told you or given you information about the likely questions to face and the answers to give. And they would also be waiting to receive you on that very day or waiting to answer call should any call come to them. That is why you must also inform them the last minute before you board your flight, even before you switch off your phone. Let them know that yes, you have boarded and you are taking off the next minute. It's only about 6 hours from Nigeria, from most African countries to the UK. Within that 6 hours, they know exactly when to expect a call. They already know what these questions would be and the likely answer they are supposed to give. So they cannot be taken unawares. They know exactly what to expect and what to feed back to the immigration officer or to the border agencies. This is rather very important. Do not ignore anything. Don't take anything for granted. It is very unfortunate that we're learning this lesson from the horrific experience of a fellow Nigerian family. However, it has happened. It is nobody's fault. It is heart wrenching, but it is something that has happened. The best we can do right now is to learn a lesson from it and ensure that we do not meet the same fate. That is the only way we can honor the family who have suffered this fate. Now, this is where we come to the end of today's briefing. I want to believe you have learned something new. And if so, please show some love. Do like the video right now. Like it and also share the video on your social media platforms so that others can come across and also benefit from the content. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, this is time to do so. Show some love, guys. Subscribe to the channel so that you can receive alert from YouTube whenever I upload a new content. My contents or the content I create on social media, which includes YouTube, is all about immigration and global opportunities. How to assess and take benefit of these opportunities. I make create contents around not only United Kingdom but also across European Union. Canada, Australia, and even the United States. I bring you updates around this area, but not just updates. I also try to crunch them. I try to make sense or make meaning out of these updates in a way that you can relate them to your personal or particular circumstances, key into these opportunities, and take advantage of them. That is what my channel is all about. I discuss immigration. I discuss opportunities of accessing global opportunities in many ways that you can, even right from your home country. If you're interested in anything around this area, do well to subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated or you can be alerted any moment I upload a new content. I want to thank you so much if you're already a subscriber to my channel. I am so grateful for the support I'm getting from you. Please, I also want to thank you so much for watching this particular episode. Until I come your way in the next one, thank you so much once again. Cheers.